Well, this week we have something called Cosmic Shimmer. Doesn't that just sound exciting?
It's Cosmic Shimmer Gilding Flakes. It's real similar to Mega Flakes, but they come in some different colors, and we're going to show you some new ways to use them.
Which means it's going to be really pretty and all flashy and lots of new ideas. Come play with us. Okay, here they are.
Cosmic Shimmer Gilding Flakes. And we have 3 of these jars.
We do.
They're great. They're different colors. We have, let's see, I can't remember what it's called.
I was relying on you to remember.
Sunlight Speckle, which has got a lot of golds and silver. A red speckle, which is mostly silver with these great red strikes of red in there.
And this is mulled wine, which we've been using quite a bit. So there you go. That's a great way for you to see. Lots of colors going in there.
All right. I mean, let's compare that one. That's that's the dark one of the set. And here's that bright silver. Look at that. You can hardly even, the camera can't even take the shine of it.
But you do have the colors throughout.
Just a little bit. So that's the speckle. And these are...
Should I do the last one?
Sure. I think these are 200 milliliter. 200 milliliter containers. And so but it's really fluffy and everything. It's just beautiful.
And this is the first one, the gold and the silver. So we'll capture these.
Yeah, because they're very flighty, just like Mega Flakes. They do kind of float around and get all over.
Okay, and we're going to come in with some projects because what is exciting is, you know, the more you use a product, the more ways you find to use it. And that's what I'm really excited about. This is a stamped, and this is from our friends at Indigo Blue, that giant sunflower. And number one, I love it in this quadrant. So it was stamped and then cut apart. But that's where you can see those gilding flakes. And this is the one that's silver and gold.
Right, so this one is Sunlight.
Thank you.
That's the Sunlight Speckle Gilding Flakes that you're going to see. I want to show you just the basic technique for stamping. And it's a different stamp. It's actually, we're going to be seeing this again in a moment. This stamp we'll show you in a minute. But I'm going to go ahead and get my stuff ready. We need flitter glue. This is the glue that adheres those flakes, to the gilding flakes, to your project.
And this is super, super adhesive glue.
Super adhesive glue. It's really sticky. I'm going to use a cosmetic sponge to apply it to the stamp, and then afterwards I'll use a scoochy sponge and this new product, which is really great. It's called a Whizzy Eraser to help remove some of those flakes. It's kind of
Are you making notes of all of these?
We'll do it as we go along. So let's start with glue. The flitter glue, I like to put a little bit of it on a cardstock, a little bit or a lot. Just kind of get that on there like so. And then I'll use that sponge to apply it to the stamp. And you don't want to make it too thick or it'll go too much down into the depressions of that stamp. I want to try to keep it sort of on the top of the stamp, so I kind of move the glue out a little bit so it's not too thick.
So that's why you don't want to squeeze the glue onto your stamp, because it will go into the recessed
areas. It'll just fill up those recessed areas.
Not a good thing.
Not get a great image. And then I kind of quickly, you don't want to do it too slow. I'm going to go ahead and stamp it, and I'm stamping it onto this, I can't remember the paper, but Trailblazer. This is the Trailblazer paper pack that you're seeing here. And so we've got that on there. It's pretty sticky, like we said. And then I've got a container here that I'm going to do this over just to make it easier for me to put those gilding flakes on. I've got red speckle gilding flakes as they float everywhere. I want to get them all over that image, and that's what's great about having the tray to use it in. I want to move it around a little bit with my fingers just to make sure that it gets onto that stamped image, and you can sort of see where it sticks onto the gluey part of that image that I stamped. Now I want to sort of remove it around the edges. That's what's kind of nice about this. I can go around the edges. I don't want to use this too much right on the image because it could sort of remove too much, but it'll remove around the edges really quickly and get off the excess for you.
Now you don't have to use that. It's
no,
just
it's
an
option.
Extra. Okay.
It's kind of fun, and it's easy to get sort of the excess off. I like to keep it around the edges a little bit. And then I'm going to shake off what I can. And then I'm going to move this. I think I didn't, maybe, no, oh yeah, that's what the stamp looks like. I was thinking that I didn't get enough glue on it, but that stamp sort of has openings there. Then you move to your scoochy sponge. And this is kind of an abrasive sponge that when you start going in circles, I usually do this in circles.
Now you're very gentle on that, right?
I'm not pressing really hard.
Okay.
I mean, there's a certain amount of pressure you need to go. You don't want to be too light, but you know, you want to get it off of there, and then you don't want to overdo it either because you can sort of take off some of the shine. You're basically removing the excess and burnishing it just a little bit.
Now, all of these little pieces, as we back up even just a little bit, all of those little bits and pieces that are there are reusable.
Yep, they are reusable. They can go on another image.
Yeah, nothing gets lost.
Right. Try to use this without a fan on, but there you see the effect is that burnished on look, that silver is sparkly, and there's a little bit of that red in there because that's called red speckle.
Very pretty.
Right.
And so same process to do this, and in addition to the stamp, I'm noticing that all the other pieces here are picking up the gold. So the gold metallic paper is what was used to mat each of the pieces in addition to the whole piece. And then some gold thin line dazzles were used along the edges out here. You can see on the brown cardstock. And the gold tiny words and phrases dazzles are right down there with a happy birthday. And we don't have an inside of this card, so
it's a beautiful look. It's sort of a special, excuse me, a special way to say something special to someone, just add a nice little pop of shine.
It's gorgeous with stamping. Now here is another card. Now this is using the butterfly that Gail just demonstrated.
Right, there's that butterfly that you saw. And what's different about it? Can you tell what's different about the butterfly?
Well, this one has the green inside.
Right. So this one, you can't see the green, you can just see the silver. And the way that was done was with a Spectrum Noir pen, which I've got one here. Right.
Oh, I wouldn't have thought of that.
Right from the green set, and you just fill in those areas. And it's sort of, if you notice, it sort of avoids the gilding flakes, right? So just yeah, you can also sort of brush it off a little bit if you haven't.
You probably want to do that quickly, huh?
Yeah.
Because otherwise it could color.
It sits on there a little bit.
Interesting.
But it just sort of comes right off. Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
I just thought that was an amazing idea. I hadn't seen that done yet.
No.
And it's very quick to do. I'm just going to color it in real quick.
And for those scissor challenge folks, that's going to be easier. I was thinking that this had been stamped on something else and cut out and placed on here. So
isn't that cool, though?
Spectrum Noir to the rescue. This seems to be a British segment, doesn't it? with indigo blue and the cosmic shimmer.
Right.
Now, back here, there is another process going on. So this is using a vintage flourish. Now, this is just a giant, very elegant stamp, but is using one of the other cosmic shimmers, right?
So the cosmic shimmer sunlight speckle was used on the back, so you can see lots more golds than with the silver, and then the one on the center was the red speckle with more silver.
So we have mixed our metals, folks, and yet what has been done is to really highlight the silver in the background. So we've used the silver linen, which this is just a favorite paper.
Right.
It's a specialty paper. It is holographic.
It's just perfect. That paper pack I was talking about, that is the Trailblazer paper pack. And so see, that's just one of the papers, that extra green, and that's what gave Debbie the idea of coloring in with that Spectrum Noir. It helps to blend in with that.
And the hello is there out of the dazzles also.
Tiny words and phrases, I think.
And then inside, just a great big thinking of you.
And that's from the Everyday Greetings pack, yeah.
So just gorgeous. Okay, so now we have another technique. Yay. Well, ready for a third one?
Okay.
Here we are. Now this is not using a stamp.
No.
This is using a stencil. And this is our artful mannequin, but she has been done in 2 layers. So
in 2 layers, first on the acetate and also backed with paper.
So there you see it on the acetate, just using the flitter glue, and then just the body was done onto the artful watercolor paper.
Just a gorgeous look. So that was, if you were to, just to see sort of what that looks like, you'll see it. I only did that so you could see it, but that didn't help. The stencil would just be placed over the acetate, and then you would use your cosmetic sponge. You'd pick up the flitter glue and just go through it like that. When you remove it, then you go ahead and apply the Gilding Flakes and use a scoochy sponge to remove them.
Exactly as you did. Okay, so that gives another use, so stamping and stencils. Then on the edges there, you can see that the purple jewel border dazzles were used on the edge of the paper.
I like that it was done, some of the dazzles are done on the inside so that when you open it, you're still seeing the decorations.
Follow your dreams. And then what I love is, okay, we're going to be right here. Stay close, John. Go in close, John. Okay, so there's the mannequin. We open this up. There's a little bee happy.
It's hidden behind.
Which is very sweet.
That paper back piece. That is just, that's a great card.
So it really is. It's a really nice. And we did use the heat resistant acetate just because we use it for stamping and we have it. So that just makes
not just that. I will say that I like using it better than regular acetate because it's stiffer.
Oh, gotcha.
So it makes a really nice flat panel. I mean, other acetate is great as well, but this one is just a little.
You like that part of it.
I do.
Now, scrapbookers, we have not left you out. Are you paying attention? Because look at this beauty.
Oh, isn't that beautiful? We're seeing the Gilding Flakes used in two different ways on here as well. Mixed in with those flowers, there are die cuts.
Right.
And that's from the Viney Swirl cutting die.
And,
just beautiful.
You know, I would not necessarily have thought of something that would be this fine, this thin, that I would automatically think of putting glue and the
And there are actually a couple of ways of doing that. I'll tell you the way that Lene did it. Lene cut it out first, so she had the die cut on cardstock. Then she went over the die cut, not on the page by the way, put it on a craft sheet and go over it with the sponge and get the glue all over it, and then apply the Gilding Flakes. The other way to do it is to take a piece of cardstock, you know, the size that you're going to put that cutting die on, and gild the entire piece, and then cut it out.
And waste all of that?
Well, there's lots of space on there, and you could cut out lots of other embellishments.
Or you could do little dice.
She was saving the Gilding Flakes to do that.
But look how beautiful that is.
It's just gorgeous.
It is just quite spectacular. Now, those flowers, to give credit where credit is due, are from Petaloo, and it's two different groupings. You'll see them in the gallery in the instructions.
And then up at the top.
Yes, I want to. Yes, this is really neat because it's so fun to find different ways to use products you may have. And in this case, this is one of our monogram sets, which is going to last you a long, long time with 259 pieces. Now, this happens to be the chocolate. You can use any of them, but isn't that spectacular on a page?
It's fantastic, and you just get the glue on there with the sponge.
Same deal.
And put the Gilding Flakes on there. Use that scoochy sponge to get it off.
That is
super cool.
Striking, absolutely striking, and really noted for that couple. And so there you go, just a beautiful array and the number.
I like the photo going off at an angle too. It sort of gives a nice little element there.
Now, this is nothing less than brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And are you going to show what Debbie did?
I am going to show.
Okay. This is using dazzles, folks. Dazzles. This is an older set. It's quilt blocks, so that's kind of interesting.
So I have the dazzles here on this cardstock already, but I'm going to show you from the sheet, and I'll take one of the small ones so that I can show you. Before you, I grabbed a little piece of the big one. Before you put that large dazzle on there, you want to take some of the sticky off of there because you're going to use this dazzle as a mask. You're going to remove it and use it elsewhere. And, well, actually, you can't use it elsewhere after this technique probably. But I stick it onto myself usually, or you can stick it on your
I do it on my jeans.
Something like that. It takes some of the sticky off. That way, when you set it down, it's easy to remove without ruining your cardstock. So there you go. You have that on there. So this is a mask now. And that's when you can go ahead and apply your glue, your flitter glue, before you put the gilding flakes on. So I can get my little puddle of flitter glue here.
And by the way, we talk about these cosmetic sponges, which you can pick up at any drugstore. You can also wash them out if you want to reuse them. So, you know, you don't have to feel like it's a one-time deal. And okay, same thing.
Same thing. You just want to get it all over. I'm not going to do as nice a job all over the cardstock as Debbie did, because we want, in the interest of time. You do want to make sure that you're getting all around that stencil area, or the, well, we're calling it stencil, that masked area of that dazzle. Okay, make sure that I've got that covered. Okay, next, remove the dazzle.
Yeah, in the set, there's one giant one. That's the one down here that you just did, as well as several smaller ones.
Right, and then go ahead and put on the gilding flakes, actually, in this case. Okay, I've got glue on my fingers.
I'll do it.
So
you want me to do it?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
You have a person over here.
So just get that on there, and I've got a wipe so I can get the glue off my fingers. I do this usually with the glue on my fingers. We're gonna, there we go.
Ooh, isn't that just gorgeous? This is the mulled wine, isn't it?
Right, that is. That's just a beautiful look. And then we find our scoochy sponge.
And as you're rubbing it, you're going to be getting, you know, those larger pieces off, just as you can see.
And those will go back into the container, and you can use them again. So I think we're ready.
You just push them over to Gail, just like that.
Just like that. And I've got the glue off of my fingers now. And I'll go ahead and start scooching it.
And then it appears, it just magically appears.
Isn't that beautiful?
Absolutely stunning. And you probably want to have your cardstock cut to the size. Very often when we're creating things, we really start with a much larger piece. But in this case,
isn't that beautiful?
Absolutely
you can spend a little bit more time, get a little bit more of that off, but since we've made a huge mess here, I'm going to take that with me.
That's why you do it into a container, isn't it?
Right.
So isn't that just absolutely stunning? Now, in this case, there's also some borders in the dazzles. So Debbie had the borders in place when she did her glue and so forth.
She placed those at the same time.
Yes.
She did not place those letters, the greeting down there that you're seeing.
Yes, the thinking of you, that's with
after.
the tiny words and phrases.
Right.
And then on the inside, she's used 2 of the smaller quilt blocks, but simply place them on black cardstock, turn them on point. Look at behind the words. Isn't that gorgeous to have a small piece? Well, you can use that anywhere. So just quite a beauty. We do have one last, so these kind of exploratory things that we're doing. This is a gorgeous use of a solid stamp this time.
Right, and this one's done on a triple step card.
It is, and the triple step, I'd like to point out, can be done vertically like this. It can also be done horizontally. We show you both on the packaging.
And you could also turn it the opposite way and mirror image everything that you're seeing.
Yes, you could do that. So right now, this is also, and boy, stunning, stunning. Okay.
So that's a beautiful use of 2 different gilding flakes. We've got the sunlight gilding flakes and the mulled wine, which we've been using quite a bit of. So those were both used together, and I can show you how. Here is one of those flowers.
So this has got both of them mixed?
So that's got most of them mixed, but what I did was I put the sunlight on the center, and then I added a little of that darker color out on the edges, so I could get
So you can make a custom mix. Is that what you're talking about?
You can mix all of these flakes.
This is the flower silhouette, and I have to tell you, I was really surprised the very first time. I thought a solid stamp would be the best. I've been delighted to see that a line stamp, just like the sunflower we first showed, works equally beautifully.
Oh, sure, you can get quite a bit of detail. I mean, you can see that you can get the detail within that stamp here. So it's just beautiful.
It is gorgeous.
Okay, so I've got one of those flowers here. Okay, maybe we didn't show it yet, did we?
I don't think we did.
Okay.
So there's the flowers, but now we also have some words and some leaves that are coming, right?
They are embossed with the WOW Superfine Metallic Copper embossing powder, but if you'll notice, they're actually embossed right on top of the gilding flakes.
Oh, so right here.
Right, that's on the leaves, and right here on the flower, the sentiment is right there, here on the leaves.
So it wasn't enough to mix gold and silver. We wanted to throw in some copper.
It's called pushing the envelope.
It is. And good job. So you're going to do something?
So I am going to show how to do that briefly, because there's one important step. If you're going to emboss on top of this, what I discovered is that the embossing powder really likes to stick to those gilding flakes. So make sure that you use something like a perfect printing pouch. Just go over that pretty good before you do it. And then once you stamp, and I've got my Versamark here, and I've got the stamp that I use. I'm just going to stamp right on the center like so. And then when you use the embossing powder on top of there, it should, for the most part, it's just going to shake right off. Yeah, that worked great. So you can see that. And then it's real simple just to heat it and emboss it, and then you've got the look that we're looking at.
Right, just beautiful. My kind. You're one of a kind, my kind.
And I love using this triple step card because you can you open it up a little bit and you can start to see what's poking out, and then there's more and more, and I love just adding those embellishments. And those stamps, I stamped them, but then I cut them out so that I could foam tape them up as well.
And you left a little edge of the black.
Right.
This butterfly or dragonfly is from a Memento set, and they are self-adhesive, but they are metal, and just a beautiful look.
They have like a foam tape piece on the back, so they sit up. There's a little bug down in the corner, which I thought was great.
And then on the inside, just one, and you can write your message.
I did do a little Versamark stamping to give it a little bit of a shadow back there too.
Very pretty. So we have Cosmic Shimmer in 3 versions.
3 versions, Mulled Wine, Sunlight Speckle, and Red Speckle, which has really been used because we like them so much.
Right, in fact, we like all 3 of them so much. So there you go. And then if you want to do the Wizzy
eraser, you can. It's
that
just kind of a
available.
fun way to help remove them.
There you go.
Have fun.